Yesterday, we talked about three invisible money leaks: lifestyle creep, convenience spending, and financial blind spots. Small things that feel harmless but quietly drain your wealth over years. And I asked you, which leak exists in your life? A lot of you were honest about that. I respect that. Tonight, I want to step back, way back, because anything we have discussed over the last 9 days, emotional spending, lifestyle inflation, the income trap, blind spots, and many other, all of it traces back to one root cause, one systematic failure that affects almost every person watching this right now. Let me ask you a question. How many years did you spend in school? Think about it. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Some of you have multiple degrees, decades of education. During all those years, did anyone teach you how money actually works? Not theory, not economics on a whiteboard. How money works in your life, how to manage income, how to structure finances, how to protect your family, how to build long term wealth. For most people, the answer is no. And that no is the most expensive gap in your entire education. Discipline builds generational strength. But who teaches the discipline if the system never mentions it? School teaches many things, many important things. I want to be fair about this. Math, science, history, literature, technology, critical thinking, problem solving, communication. These are valuable, these matter. But one of the most important life skill, a skill you will use every single day from the moment you earn your first dollar until the day you leave this earth, is rarely discussed: financial literacy. Think about what school prepared you for. You learned algebra, you can solve for x, but can you solve for how much of my income should go to protection versus growth? You learn history, you can name every president, but can you name the three financial buckets your family needs to survive? You learn biology, you understood how cells divide, but do you understand how compound works, how money multiplies over time? You graduated with the ability to analyze Shakespeare, but nobody taught you how to analyze your own bank statement. People graduate with degrees, with honors, with distinctions, but without a framework for managing the money those degrees help them earn. And here is the part that bothers me most. It's not accidental. Financial literacy isn't some obscure topic that's too complex for a classroom. Budgeting is simpler than calculus. Understanding debt is simpler than organic chemistry. The three money paths, spending, protection, and growth, could be taught in a single afternoon, but it's not in the curriculum. Generation after generation graduates without it, and generation after generation makes the same preventable financial mistakes. Now, let me ask you something. I want you to be honest in the chat. What is the one financial lesson you wish schools had taught you? Just one thing. Type it in the chat box right now, because I guarantee whatever you type, hundreds of people watching are thinking the exact same thing. So, what happens when millions of people enter the adult world without financial education? Exactly. What you would expect? People enter the workforce, they start earning maybe their first real paycheck, and it feels incredible. Money is coming in, they feel independent, they feel like adults. But nobody gave them a manual. Nobody said, here is how to structure this income. Here is how much should go where. Here is what to do before you spend. Here is what happens if you don't protect yourself. So they learn about money the only way left: trial and error. Trial and error with money is the most expensive education in the world. You learn about credit cards by getting into credit card debt. You learn about loans by being buried under payments you didn't fully understand when you signed. You learn about lifestyle inflation by wondering where a six figure income disappeared to. You learn about protection by facing an emergency with no safety net. You learn about financial structure by spending 20 years without one and realizing you have nothing to show for it. Most of us learned about money only after making mistakes, not small mistakes, life altering mistakes, mistakes that took years to recover from, mistake that didn't need to happen if anyone had spent one semester teaching us the basics. And here is what makes this cycle so painful: those mistakes compound. The same way good financial decisions compound over time, bad ones do too. The debt you take on at 22 affects your options at 32. The habits you form at 25 shape your reality at 45. The structure you never built in your 30s becomes the stress you carry in your 50s. Every year without financial literacy is a year of decisions made in the dark. And dark decisions rarely lead somewhere bright. Now, someone watching might think, okay, schools don't teach money, that's frustrating. But why does it matter so much? Because money decisions don't just affect your bank account, they affect almost every part of your life. Your stress levels. Financial stress is the number one source of anxiety in American households. Not health, not relationships, money. And most of that stress comes not from earning too little, but from having no structure around what you earn. Your career choices. How many people stay in jobs they hate because they can't afford to leave, because they have no reserves, no protection, no runway. Financial literacy doesn't just cost you money, it costs you freedom, your family's stability. Money conflict is one of the leading causes of divorce, not because couples don't love each other, because nobody taught either of them how to talk about money, plan with money, or structure money together. Your children's future. If you don't learn financial literacy, you can't teach it. And the cycle continues. Your children graduate into the same gap you did, making the same preventable mistakes, starting from the same zero. That's why this matters. It's not about spreadsheets and bank accounts, it's about the quality of your life, your freedom, your peace, your family, your legacy. Without financial awareness, people react emotionally instead of strategically. They make fear based decisions instead of structure based decisions. They chase income instead of building wealth. They survive instead of thrive. And all of it traces back to a gap that could have been closed with one class, one semester, one teacher who said, "Before you go into the world, let me show you how money actually works." That teacher never showed up for most of us. So we have to become the teacher for ourselves and for our families. Good news, now I've spent 12 minutes telling you about a problem. Let me spend the next few telling you why I'm actually optimistic. The good news is this: financial literacy can be learned at any stage of life, any age, any income, any starting point. It's not too late. You don't need a degree in finance. You don't need to understand the stock market inside out. You don't need to become an accountant or an economist. You just need awareness. You need to understand where your money goes. You need to know the three paths: spending, protection, and growth. You need to recognize your emotional triggers. You need a monthly review. You need the discipline to allocate before you spend. That's it. That's financial literacy at its core. And if you have been showing up for these conversations for 10 days, you already know more about money than most people learn in a lifetime. Not because this is advanced, because nobody else is teaching it. And here is what excites me most: small shifts in understanding lead to better decisions. Not perfect decisions, better decisions. And better decisions repeated over months and years compound, just like money compounds. One better decision this month, two better decisions next month, a slightly smaller leak here, a slightly better allocation there, a conversation with your partner about money that you have been avoiding, a monthly review that takes 30 minutes but saves you thousands. None of these are dramatic. None of these require genius. They just require showing up consistently, patiently, with awareness. And that's what you are doing right now. By being here, by listening, by committing to 30 days of financial clarity, you are closing the gap that the education system left open. Not for a grade, not for a diploma, for your family. And here is the most powerful part: when you learn this, you can teach it to your children, to your siblings, to your friends. You become the teacher that nobody gave you. And the cycle that's been running for generations stops with you. So, here is something I want you to sit with tonight. not about the system, about you. What is one financial skill you wish you had learned earlier? Maybe it's how credit actually works. Maybe it's how to save before spending. Maybe it's how to save a money conversation with your partner without it turning into an argument. Maybe it's simply how to look at your bank statement without fear. Whatever that skill is, you can still learn it. It's not too late. The best time to learn was 20 years ago. The best time is right now. And that awareness, the awareness of what you missed and the commitment to close the gap, that alone can change your future decisions. Not because you become a financial expert overnight, because you become intentional. And intention is the opposite of the autopilot, and that the education gap got created. That's day 10, 10 days, one third of this journey complete. So if you have been here from day one, think about where your mind was 10 days ago versus where it is tonight. You didn't just learn facts, you shifted perspective. You started seeing money differently, spending differently, thinking differently. That's not information, that's transformation. And we are just getting started. Tomorrow, we are going deeper into structure, how to actually organize your money in a way that aligns with everything you have learned over these 10 days. Practical, simple, something you can implement this week. If conversations like this help you think differently about money, join me again. I go live every single day here at 9:08 p.m. Central Time. Type 30 days in the comments if you are building with me. Share this with someone who deserved this education but never got it. This series is about building clarity around money, mindset, and long term financial discipline. We don't chase money here, we build structure. Discipline builds generational strength. See you tomorrow.